Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, this is part 2 of the series where I'm going to be talking about toxic people, toxic environments, and toxicity that exists within you. I hope you have already seen part 1 of the series, in which we titled that B, Better Have My Money, or Which Better Have My Money. I didn't want to use the actual word because I'm trying to get a point across and I don't need it to be flagged. So that was part 1 of the series. And as promised, here is part 2 of the series. The title of this discussion, dealing with toxic people, we're going to be talking about women who have the attitude of, I don't need a man for nothing. We've heard that so much over the years because there is a mindset that has been developed and it has been nurtured. There are so many different reasons why, but I think we need to understand that just because there may be a reason why, or there may be a number of reasons why, it still does not justify the end result. Okay? That simply means that we didn't fight hard enough. We didn't fight hard enough to combat that mindset. And so what we are seeing is a spillover to our younger generations, where they have this attitude where they say they don't need a man for nothing. The older generation said it, and their mothers have said it, and now they're saying it too, because that mindset has been adapted to. And it has created much harm in the so-called black community. Now, it's not to be confused with a statement where a woman says, I can do bad all by myself. Okay, that's a person who is sounding like they're getting out of a toxic situation, where they're saying they can do bad all by themselves, meaning they are not going to sit around and allow someone to pull them down because that person is toxic, right? And so they cut the man loose for that reason. So this is not to be confused with that, because that statement is understandable. If someone is toxic, you have to get rid of them. So that statement can be, I'm not going to say in all cases, but that statement, I can do bad by myself, can be very valid. But when a woman says, I don't need a man for nothing, that is invalid. It's not a good thing that needs to go out into the atmosphere. It should not be promoted. It should not be accepted, and it should not be adhered to in any way, because there are many things that a woman needs a man for. Okay, but the thought behind that statement of not needing a man for anything comes from a position of rebellion. And as I said before, there could be a number of different reasons for the statement. I mean, it could be a hurt that someone has experienced, or something that they've gone through in their life, and they are fed up. But then it goes to say that this person has given up because of experiences that they've had, and they've applied that same that reaction to every man, every so-called black man. You see, or every man, period. They've applied that statement to say that they don't need a man for nothing. And that right there comes from this modern day feminism. Modern day feminism. Now, why am I saying modern day feminism? Because unfortunately, a lot of people toss that around as an attack mechanism to keep women silent on issues where they should be speaking. And so that creates another level of toxicity to the whole thought of a woman saying, I don't need a man for nothing. That in and of itself is a toxic statement. But when a man applies feminism to everything dealing with a woman who has any type of objection to things, that's not fair. And so it is meant to silence. So what we've got to learn how to do is how to separate toxicity in any situation. Remember what we said before about toxicity. Something that is toxic is poisonous, is detrimental, is treacherous to your health, to your well-being. And so you got to get rid of it, because poison can kill. And even if it doesn't kill you, it can make you very sick or weak. And so keep in mind that we're talking about on a natural and a spiritual level. And so that being said, anything that is toxic, you need to get yourself away from it. You need to eliminate the thought if it's a thought of your own. If it's a person or a group, you need to separate yourself from that person or that group to save yourself. And with women today, this modern day femininity, or should I say, not femininity, I'm sorry, this modern day feminism has kind of cast a dark shadow on actual and real feminism. See, back in the day, Harriet Tubman was considered a feminist. Let me just go ahead and go to the definition of what a feminist used to be, or what it used to mean, because today it means something totally different. Just like stupid used to mean something totally different. Or should I say, it wasn't stupid. Nice. Okay. The word nice used to mean something totally different. It actually meant stupid back in the day. When you look up the etymology of the word nice, it actually meant stupid. So word meanings change. So you have to be aware of what something was versus what it is now. Okay? And so feminism, by definition, means the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Okay? That is what it means. But you have now women who take a real and true movement and they've turned it into something monstrous. They've turned it into body things. Oh, this is my body. This is my mind. And this is my this. And all of this kind of stuff to justify things that women aren't supposed to be doing. They've taken that to say, well, you can't tell me what to do with this and you can't tell me what to do with that. They've taken a very aggressive attitude towards things that they should actually stand down on. And so modern feminism is definitely different than what it used to mean, because again, Harriet Tubman was called a feminist because she was trying to be freed from slavery. And she was doing things that people weren't used to seeing women doing, like freeing other slaves, carrying a pistol, you see, carrying around a weapon to protect herself. Because folk weren't used to seeing women behave in that way. She was called or labeled a feminist too, but a feminist back in those days wasn't considered something that was negative. But today, modern day feminism have women saying things like, I don't need a man for nothing. And when you have that type of attitude, it actually gives birth to other thoughts as well. When you start saying things like you don't need a man for nothing, then you start to look with great adoration towards women for things that you're supposed to get from a man. Like intimacy and sexual satisfaction. Since you've made the statement and put it out there that you feel like you don't need a man for nothing, then you start looking to Brenda for your pleasure. You see, and you start to do other things that you're not supposed to be doing, because you've allowed a thought to be planted and you're nurturing that thought when really you were supposed to arrest that thought. You're not supposed to take every horrible experience and make it into something worse by putting a blanket on top of everyone that's a man and making it appear as though every last one of them are the same way. Now listen, we know and we understand that there are some boogers out here in every race. We get that. We know this and we understand that. But on the flip side of that, there's always a flip side, y'all. On the flip side of that, there are some exceptionally good and righteous men out here. They haven't all vanished. And I know it's difficult in this day and age to get you to understand that or to see it, because the world is in a bad way right now. The situation that we as a people are in is very, very tripped out. The world over, in every country, on every continent, so-called black people have a rough outlook because of the rough existence that they have as a collective. Now, that's not to say every last one of us, but when you look at the things that are happening, the oppression, when you look at the persecution, when you look at the poverty, all of these things lend to why many people feel the way they feel and think the way they think. But I've got to stay true to what I know we should be doing. And that is making righteous choices. We can't look at one, two, or a few and make blanket statements about everyone. When we speak on these things, we do realize not everyone is the same. We know this. But I can't endorse or agree when a woman says that they don't need a man for anything. There are absolutely things that we need men for. And I'm not just talking about manual labor as far as building things, because you have shows now that are dedicated to showing women at, building and making and doing all kinds of things. And I remember years ago, there was a commercial that came out where these women were saying, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. So that was, to me, part of that feminism too, where you're trying to compete with men, talking about anything they can do, you can do better. That is a competition. That is a haughty feminist, modern feminist attitude. That's exactly what it is. Now, that's not to say that women can't do things. I understand women can install windows. I know how to do that kind of stuff. I know women can lay floors and hang drywall. I get all of that. But why the competitiveness? Why does there have to be a song that says, anything you can do, I can do better? That is where that attitude of I don't need a man for nothing came from. When women started to get it in their heads that they're not going to try to figure out the righteous way to deal with the problems that they have with men. We're not saying that men don't have problems that need to be dealt with. We get that. We talk about that. And it's very clear. It is obvious that men, period, regardless of your race, have problems. They have issues that they need to deal with. But on the flip side of that, you have women as well who have some serious problems that they need to deal with as well. Things that need to be understood. The first thing you need to do is understand that that is a toxic attitude to have as a woman. That's the first thing. Once you get that understanding, then you will seek help. The second thing is to find out or understand why you feel that way. Why is it that you believe that you as a woman don't need a man for anything? What brought you to this point? Is it a learned behavior? Is it an experience-based behavior? Was it something you saw? Is it something that's being promoted in the movies or the music? What brought you to this place? Because for everybody, there's a different reason why they are brought to a specific place. So that's the thing you need to do as well, is find out, why do you think this way? And if you have to, pull out a piece of paper and a pencil and write down everything that you think you can do without a man. And I challenge you to come up with a list of things that you need a man for. I guarantee you it's something there. I guarantee it is. But when you allow yourself to just settle into one mindset and say that you don't need them for anything, you are actually creating toxicity in your own mind. And if you have daughters or nieces or any female that's around you, a sister or friend, you can actually contaminate them with that very same thought. And all of these things are geared towards driving a deeper wedge between us and our male counterparts. We don't need that. We definitely don't need that. We need to learn how to repair the breach that is there. Of course, it can be blamed on so many different things. There are so many different reasons why there has been a deep wedge that has driven us apart. So many different reasons. But instead of us trying to justify your position, instead of trying to justify your position and saying, well, this is why I feel this way. I was hurt deeply. I was hurt badly. Instead of trying to find justification in a position of being hurt or from a fallen state, instead of trying to justify that, why not seek another solution that is going to be the best solution for all of us collectively? Because the future generations depend on it. When they look to us and all they see is toxicity just being spread around, being justified, being accepted, being put on full display as something that is right and okay, they're actually going to be worse. They will turn out to be hell on wheels. And I'm talking about our young men and our young women. If they continue to see the adults acting and behaving a certain way, they're going to take pattern after that. One thing we need to understand is when you see too many women who have this I don't need a man for anything attitude, it causes damage even to other women, because it then gets pushed and promoted that all women feel this way, that all black women feel this way. And we all don't feel that way. It causes a stereotype to be birthed to where they say black women have this attitude and not every black woman does. And you know it. But because it's been pushed by enough people, so many people are saying it, it becomes an accusation that is hurled at people who don't even think like that. And so my thought and my thinking is this, that we've got to repair this toxicity in the so-called black community. We've got to get rid of it. We've got to do a natural and a spiritual detox. And that starts with conversation and mind and everything. Because once we purge our thoughts, when you purge your thoughts, you'll begin to change your environment as well. You'll stop going around people who just don't want to let it go. People who have any type of toxicity, you will stop going around them because you're saying they're not feeding anything good into my spirit, so I'm going to let this go. I love them, but I can't be around them anymore. They don't offer anything to my life. Sometimes it's family. You got to do what you have to do to protect you. If you want to protect your peace and your sanity, sometimes folk got to bounce right out of your life and you can't look back. You got to shake the dust off and keep it moving. Stop with all of this nonsense thinking of feeling like you have to put up with anything just because somebody has the same last name as you or because they have the same blood running through their veins. You don't have to put up with stuff just because somebody's family or because someone was a childhood friend. Or because it's a co-worker. You don't have to put up with this mess. If something is bringing vexation into your spirit, if something is clouding your thoughts, if something is dominating your mind in an unhealthy way, that is called toxicity. And toxicity is poisonous. It will destroy you. It will kill you on both a natural and a spiritual level. You have got to do something about it. You have got to clean house. Unapologetically, you have got to clean house. Don't allow people, and don't even allow your own self to bring you down and to cause you to accept something toxic into your mind. Because when you do that, you have become complicit with your own demise. And remember, another part of toxicity is something that is insidious. Insidious is something that is treacherous and crafty, subtle, and with harmful effects. Remove all the insidiousness out of your life. Get all of this stuff out of your life and begin to repair. Repair your thoughts, repair your mind, repair you, so that you can be better for those around you, including your children. Most importantly, for yourself. Okay, I am done with this particular episode of our toxicity series. Please remember in the comment section to leave your thoughts on subjects that we should cover in this series. I want to dive into this because we got to let it go. We've got to learn how to let it go. We can't continue to drag this stuff around year after year and then try to figure out why sickness is coming upon you, why you have no peace and shalom, why things are falling apart in your life. Many times it's because you have invited toxicity into your life. It's time to let it go. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, share and like this video. And with that, I am out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.